Have you ever kept showing up, even when you no longer knew why? Kept performing, kept producing, kept pushing, not because you were strong, but because you know how to stop. Not burnout, not collapse, just the slow evaporation of something once alive in you. I used to think I was just tired, but one day I realized I wasn't burned out, I was dried out. There wasn't a single moment of crisis, no breaking point, no dramatic fall, just a quiet, gradual vanishing of joy, of meaning, of that small but steady fire that once burned in my chest when I talked about what I loved. You know that fire, right? The one that used to light up your eyes when someone asked what you were working on. The one that used to make you forget to eat because you were so deep in the flow, so alive inside your own momentum. Mine went out. Not because I failed, not because I wasn't good at what I did, but because somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling connected to it. And that, I've learned, is the more dangerous kind of exhaustion. Burnout is often spoken of like a productivity issue. Too much work, not enough rest, poor boundaries. So we fix it with time off, vacations, meditation, work-life balance. But what if the thing that's killing us isn't the workload, but the loss of meaning? Viktor Frankl once said, when a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. I used to distract myself with achievement, with more goals, more metrics, more output, because stopping felt dangerous. Because silence meant I might hear something I didn't want to face, that I no longer knew why I was doing all this. It wasn't that I hated my work, it's that I couldn't find myself in it anymore. It's like being in a long-term relationship where you're still technically together, but the intimacy is gone. You go through the motions, you say the right things, you keep the calendar filled, but inside, you're just going through the script. And after a while, the hollowness becomes unbearable. Not dramatic, not urgent, just a quiet ache, like being homesick for something you can't name. There's burnout of the body, and then there's burnout of the soul. The first one feels like collapse. The second one feels like disconnection. The first can be healed with rest. The second requires return. Return to what? To yourself. To what mattered to you before the noise, before the deadlines, before the need to prove anything to anyone. Sometimes the reason we feel so empty is not because we did too much, but because we forgot why we started doing it in the first place. One morning, I sat with my coffee and stared blankly at a blank page, not because I had nothing to say, but because the words no longer meant anything. I looked at my calendar. It was full, but I wasn't. And in that moment, a strange truth surfaced. I had succeeded in building a life that no longer had room for me in it. We tend to treat disconnection as a problem to fix. But what if it's a message? What if the emptiness you feel isn't a sign you're failing, but a signal you're straying? That ache in your chest might not be weakness. It might be wisdom, a whisper from the part of you that remembers, this wasn't the life you dreamed of. Not exactly. This wasn't how you wanted to feel. You didn't want to live just to check things off a list. You didn't want to succeed only to feel like a stranger to your own soul. You wanted to care, to create something real, to mean something, not just to others, but to yourself. Sometimes, failure comes as a gift. Not the kind we want, but the kind we need. A failure that doesn't end you, but interrupts you. That pulls you out of the performance, out of the persona, out of the pattern, and makes you ask the real question, is this still mine? Is this still me? Because the moment you stop being in your own life, that's the real burnout. Not the overwork, not the pressure, but the moment you vanish inside your own success. Healing for me, didn't look like a vacation or a productivity hack. It looked like stillness, like staring out the window for a long time, like crying over things I didn't know I was still carrying, like picking up old notebooks and remembering the version of me who once believed in something beautiful. It looked like asking simple, painful questions. What used to light me up? Where did I start performing instead of living? What do I need to feel whole again? And slowly, very slowly, a whisper returned. Not a roar, not a clear answer. Just a soft, tired voice saying, "This isn't who I am anymore, but I'm still in here. Please come find me." I didn't burn out. I dried out. But that dryness taught me something precious, that my soul is not a machine, that rest is not enough without meaning, that success without self is just another form of loss. So no, I don't need a break. I need a return to the things I love, to the parts of me I buried, to the why beneath the what. And maybe, just maybe, so do you. If this feels familiar, if you've ever found yourself quietly fading inside the life you built, let me know in the comments. You're not alone in this, and maybe by speaking it aloud, you'll start the journey back to yourself, one small breath at a time.